What's going on, guys? So we got a few drones. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Mavic 3 and my opinion and thoughts on that. People who are waiting to buy a Mavic 3, for example, good or bad, it's your obvious prerogative. But at the same time, I would suggest not waiting for a Mavic 3 because, as I said, in my opinion, it's kind of like waiting for a unicorn to give birth. We never know if it's going to happen. We're relying on DJI, a company that's kind of proven itself to be unpredictable. We have, for example, on the 8th, this 5 hype that we don't know what it is. Some people say a Phantom 5. I don't think so. They say an Osmo Mobile 5, which is more predictable because, again, I can't see DJI really stoking us out with a Phantom 5. It just doesn't seem realistic from what they've been doing so far. It just doesn't seem realistic to me that DJI is going to come out with a really badass Phantom 5 just out of nowhere, but that's my input on this. But regardless of all that, but again, we have different drones available to us right now. Not a Mavic 3, we don't know date. We have the Mini 2, for example. We got now the Mini SE, which is even a more entry-level drone at around $300, I believe. I don't want one or need one, so I don't even know much about it. But it's a dummied-down little version of this guy, meaning it's 2.7K, I believe, as opposed to 4K. We have the Mavic 2 Zoom available to us, which is still, to me, a very versatile, really nice drone that we can use for work to get different focal lengths, to have a little bit less expensive option. I mean, the Mavic 2 Pro is, of course, a 1-inch sensor, still a very capable drone, and it shoots D-Log and 10-bit color, and this Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K shoots 10-bit, 4K, does 6K, not 10-bit, but again, 1-inch sensor. To me, the Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K is the best photography drone on the market. That's my opinion so far. So I think the files out of this Evo 2 Pro with the 1-inch sensor look totally killer. So we have these 4 drones that I have in my arsenal. I use this primarily for jobs and still photography. And of course, flying at night or just, I love the drone. It's actually a really cool drone. I recently got burned buying a second drone from someone. I sent them $700 through Zelle for an Evo 2 Pro that I thought they were giving a good deal and just not wanting it. Long story short, that ended up going to the black abyss, so that sucked, but at the same time, I made my money back and made a bunch of money that week, so I feel everything happens for a reason. If you stay positive, you throw some money out into the universe, you learn a lesson, and it just is going to come back to you, hopefully tenfold, ideally. But regardless, that sucked. So touching on that, but Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K, very capable, awesome drone. The Mavic 2 Zoom I use a lot of times if I want to just get a little different focal length on a shot, and it's just an easy drone to fly. It's not a ton of money, so it's pretty low impact. The Mini 2 I'll fly if I'm flying low or I'm flying in tight spaces or inside for real estate, or I just want something that's less conspicuous and non-threatening and not like an Inspire 2 or something like this, because this drone has a bigger presence to it. I recently just got this guy back, so maybe we can set this over here. Be very careful. So there we go. We got the Inspire 2, which is the king of the drones as far as cinematography is concerned, in my opinion. I just recently ordered, because this was actually getting my X5S replaced and it was at service with DJI, and I ordered one of these this just happened just now, so I'm talking about it really quickly, but I ordered one of these DJI Cine SSD, the 960 gig, which is like 1500 plus from B&H Photo. I just literally opened it today. So I ordered this from B&H, I believe back in July. Now, mind you, this was actually in service and I didn't have any reason to open this thing up because I just didn't need it. So I held on to it and I opened it up tonight for the first time, literally in September, because I just got this guy back. And this thing was completely corroded. So I'll show you in the little video clip, but totally corroded. I have no idea, but I'm hoping B&H Photo will do right by me because I literally just opened it up today. Zero corrosion is from me. This thing was in my house, climate controlled. So whatever, pretty annoying, but I'm sure they'll make right. That kind of is lame though. So this is not going to go in this little drone because I'm not going to put a dirty, corroded, unknown SSD into my brand new Inspire 2. But again, we have a lot of drones. The basis of this video is saying to you guys, we have a lot of drones available to us from all kinds of price points, from the Mini 2, which is roughly $500, to the Zoom, which is $1,200, $1,300, to the Mavic 2 Pro, which is around $1,700, $2,000. Same thing with the Evo 2 Pro. I'm not being super accurate with my figures, but in that ballpark. So really, there is no reason to wait. And in my opinion, I would just go ahead and get an Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K, maybe get the version 2. You don't even need to mess around with the smart controller. You know, hook this thing up, get a few batteries, and learn how to fly and get some killer footage. This thing is awesome at night. It flies really well. And in my opinion, the Mavic 3, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that thing when it finally hits. I'm sure it's going to be a good drone, of course. I'm sure a Phantom 5 will be a killer drone when it actually comes out. I'm sure an Inspire 3 will be a killer drone. But you know what? You're just ending up talking about all of those drones and not flying. So you might as well make money with these guys. You know, I just made whatever, I mean, 5, 6, 7,000 with this drone the last month. So you don't even need realistically an Inspire 2. I have made money with this drone, but I haven't had it in my hands because it was back and forth from service. But I'm hoping, again, I'll make more money with this drone again once I get my SSD and I can take advantage of the ProRes license, maybe the Cinema D&G license. I can actually start showing a lot nicer video and getting bigger paying jobs with my Inspire 2. But again, with the Mavic 3, I don't think there's any reason to wait, in my opinion. So, you know, I would think that it's going to drop by the holiday time if they're going to do anything. If not, DJI, in my opinion, is dropping the ball on the 1 yard line and really just kind of failing with that because they've already missed last year. We waited a whole other year. What did we get out of it? We got the Air 2S, which is a cool drone. To me, it's not that big of a deal. I know people love it because it's the coolest thing. We got the FPV, which was a cool drone for sure. So that was a nice new innovative drone from DJI. The Mavic Air 2 is still a good drone. The Air 2S, obviously the 1-inch sensor, but it's a fixed aperture. I still think the Autel Evo 2 Pro 6K kicks its ass. And yes, I'm sticking to those words. I actually had an Air 2S and I returned it just because I didn't feel the need of having, I had my Mavic 2 Pro at the time, but I didn't feel I needed 2 1-inch sensor drones and an Inspire 2 and the Zoom and blah, 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 blah. It just gets way too nuts. And for me, you know, you start having so much gear and it just kind of weighs you down and stresses you out almost because you got to take care of all the batteries. You got, you know, I got 10 batteries for the Inspire 2. I got 8 for the Autel and blah, blah, blah with the Mavic 2 Zoom and the Mini 2. Just maintaining all your gear by yourself becomes stressful. And I don't want this to be stressful. It is a job, but at the same time, it's still fun. And that's what I love about flying drones. Of course, making money is cool and being able to pay for this gear is cool. Like the job I just had this month paid for my Inspire 2, which was a great thing. But you know what? I didn't even use my Inspire 2 for that job. So there's no excuse or reason to wait and not get something like one of these drones that's more than capable in the right hands. If you know what you're doing, you know how to fly, you know how to edit, you know how to work with a client, you have your 107 license with Pilot Institute, that would be who I'd suggest going to. And with that being said, that's kind of it. I mean, what are your thoughts? What drones do you guys rock out? What are you waiting for? Do you want a Phantom 5? Do you want an Inspire 3? Do you want a Mavic 3? What do you think is going to be the next drone to drop? I mean, let me know in the comments below. Personally, I think the Mavic 3, my guesstimate is that the Mavic 3, if it does pop, it's going to pop around the holiday time. To me, DJI would be really, as I said, dropping the ball, just kind of failing if they didn't release it sooner than later because there's just so much hype about it. I mean, you know, just come out with the drone, make it available. I mean, it can't be that difficult. I don't know how it is with all the different chip shortages and stuff for the production side of things, but at the same time, if that's not an issue, they should just drop something. I mean, I would imagine what I would like personally out of a Mavic 3 Pro would be something with a better 1-inch sensor, comparable to maybe a Sony RX100 Mark VII, like a really quality Sony 1-inch sensor. I know it's going to be Hasselblad, but whatever. I don't know, whoever makes the sensor, something really nice quality, better than the Mavic 2 Pro is now, maybe even with the ability to zoom, similar to the Mavic 2 zoom, that would be badass in my opinion. So if we can get the Mavic 3 to have a zoom and a 1-inch sensor shooting 10-bit, to me that would be like worthwhile, and I'd buy one in a second. So that would be one drone I would add to my mix, and I'd probably end up selling one of these. So every time I buy a drone, I do spend money, of course. I'm not made of money. At the same time, I do kind of balance it out. So I would suggest you guys do the same thing. If you buy a drone, sell one. Or if you don't think you need all of these, I mean, there's no reason for me to collect gear. I mean, we all have that whole gas thing where we want to just acquire all this gear and have it. But to me, it's almost too much. I mean, my Autel, I love. Probably my favorite drone, honestly. The Mini 2, it's just there. It's not a big deal. It's fun to fly on occasion. And I'm surprised actually at what kind of footage you can get out of it. So this little thing, even though it's small, still can get you a good picture that you could make money with, can get you good footage. And obviously the Inspire 2 is a workhorse. It has the ability to shoot ProRes, Cinema DNG, 10-bit, 12-bit, all kinds of great types of possibilities with jobs. The zoom, the Mavic 2 Pro, the FPV, that's a world I didn't get really into. But again, just a little video on my take on the Mavic 3, whether you should wait or not. To me, the time is now. It's kind of the yogi kind of side of me. I mean, we just kind of zen out, but the time is now. I mean, you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You don't even know if you're going to be around tomorrow, so be grateful for every day. So might as well live for the now, as I said, and fly and buy what we have available to us, and there's plenty available to us that's quality, and more than quality for most people's flying abilities, let's be honest. So anyway, guys, if that was any interest to you, hit the thumbs up, right on, aloha, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments below what you think, what drones you rock out, as I said, and what you think the Mavic 3 is going to be about, and when do you think it's going to drop, and also if you think this 5-hole ordeal is going to be a Phantom 5, a Mobile 5, or just give me some insight. So anyway, guys, peace.